All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Troubleshooting Life podcast. I'm your host, Jay Peters, with my great co-host, Craig. What's going on, Craig?
What's going on?
All right,
Happy to be here.
yeah, no doubt. Always happy. Just to set the precedence of the podcast, right? So, Craig and I, are here to bridge the gap, between generations by empowering, exposing, and educating others about things like financial literacy, new perspectives, and overall life goals. Right. Yeah, man, how you been? I know I just saw you like a couple hours ago.
Yeah, I'm still good, Yeah.
Yeah. Anything going on this past week or
Yeah.
anything with the family?
No. All of us were sick, and then all of us getting over it now. That's about it.
All right, dude, that run was crazy, man.
Yeah.
Just catching everybody. I'm surprised it's still like the specific variant is still catching people. Like we still got people at work, calling out and stuff.
Yeah. It sneaks up on you. And then I actually was looking up the CDC stuff, and you could have it days in advance and not even know it, and you've already spread it to somebody else. It's so weird. So that's why it's hard to tell where you get it from. I mean, you could be a mask wearer or not. It doesn't matter. It just depends on who you're with. So.
I think the thing with the mask is that it's more for you not to spread it, right? Not for you not to catch it.
Yeah, because that means that somebody else has to wear a mask to protect you. So
yeah, well, that's a pretty big moral thing too, right?
well, at least hopefully somebody does a responsible thing. If they know they have it, just put it on for the time being, till you can not wear it.
Yeah, they don't just show up to work and do stuff and then sit in their corner like I did. But
I think at a certain point it says you stop spreading anyway, but that's the thing, you don't know when. So that's why you see me wear it still.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely important. Even me, man, you saw me coughing earlier. I don't even know why that keeps happening. Because I don't have any like residual things from when I had COVID, but that cough still comes around every once in a while.
Yeah. But hopefully we can get through it. Everybody can get through it. Get through this season and get well. Because it is it's kind of annoying. It puts you down. It keeps you from going to work. It keeps you from going to school. It keeps you from doing something you want to do. And because once you've shown positive, you're not supposed to be around people.
Because your wife and kids got it too, right? Or no?
Yeah, but kids got it, and it went through them quick. I mean, kids are super resilient. They had a fever off and on for at least 2 or 3 days, and then after that it was like nothing ever happened. So it's crazy.
They're back in school and everything, or?
No, they still got to sit out for a little bit because the rules are if you're not vaccinated, you got to sit out for 10 days instead of 5.
Oh,
yeah.
Dang, yeah, okay, I didn't even think about that. Because they're also younger, so
yeah. Well, hopefully we can get them back in a little bit sooner. We'll get them retested.
Yeah. Can't get rid of them, man.
Yeah. So what is this podcast on this Friday?
Yeah. So all right. So going into the topic of the podcast, right? So episodes to be called Fear. And we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier that it was one of the concepts you kind of came about. I know we've had conversations about it. And honestly, you kind of opened my eyes about it because I've never really thought of the concept specifically of fear or that what people are afraid of in general that kind of keeps them from doing things in life. So kind of going into it, right? I can't remember what we were talking about beforehand, but like what kind of brought up this specific theme
Well, it was,
for
how,
this episode.
because how you use fear. Well, we don't notice the fear, I guess, it keeps us from doing things that we want to do. Uh, Sometimes the fear is it could be small, it could be big, but either way it goes, it could deter you from what you want to do, or what you have to do. Because I guess we're meant to be a fight or flight type of species. So if we can't get through fear, then we're not gonna run. But if we can, then we're gonna fight. So,
But what do you think it attributes to that? Like you said, the fight or flight, right? So what do you think would attribute to someone fighting rather than fleeing or the flight portion?
well, I mean, the fight could be just actually dealing with it. As I like to say, sometimes it's like making it where it's completely dark, but you still walk through the door anyway. But because you don't know what's there, and you don't know what you're going to run into. You don't know if somebody's in there to get you, but that's a fear, right? But you still walk in anyway. So in that sense, if you have that fear to just keep going, regardless if, like I said, it could be deep down fear. It could be to the point where you're shaking, you're frozen. But if you can overcome it and do what you have to do, so it could be fear of investing, it could be fear of moving forward with your life, where you need to move to a new state, a new country. It depends on what that fear might be. But if you can overcome it, you never know what the outcome would be.
What do you think attributes to that overcoming it? Is it like something like faith or confidence, courage, and I mean, of course, it can be situational, right? But in your opinion, like what is an example for your life that you've had a fear and then you had to overcome it and with one of those?
I'd say one of the to me was a big one, joining the military. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. It didn't matter that I was like 30 years old. The fact is, when I got a chance to sign, I'm signing to some unknown. All I've heard was hearsay. And then like how my dad would act like it was, like it might have been bad, not the greatest time for him. So it might not be a great time for me, and which was actually wrong. I had a great time, and also I learned a lot and overcame a lot of fears, learning that, without courage, you have to have some fear. So because you're meant to have some fear, because you got to think, right? You got to think about your safety. So, but if you're courageous to enough to a point where you can overcome that fear and then move forward to do whatever you need to do. I guess like one of the things that one of the unit I was with, the battalion commander, one of the words he liked to use all the time was being tenacious, a tenacious fighter. Yeah, he loved to use that word, and which it made a lot of sense. It's like, regardless if you're afraid or not, being tenacious, still, steadfast, moving forward, you're still going to win. So yeah, that's kind of like what how I see overcoming it or getting to that point. Yeah. So what do you think about that? Yeah.
So going back to the military, right? Military, same. I will say, there's certain moments that I definitely was afraid, like say from the very beginning going into boot camp, like you said, lack of expectation management per se, right? I didn't know what to expect really in a boot camp. Like they can show you all the videos, right? They can talk to you, all of it, but like the feeling you get when you're arriving, when you're traveling there, right? And while you're like in boot camp, right? While you have all these people, like I will tell you, when I was in boot camp, I was probably around the most amount of people, like all at once, but I still felt alone. right?
Yeah.
Like it was the weirdest thing. That like, go into my rack, try to go to sleep, right? But I just felt like this segregation, right? And it's not like I didn't like anybody in the unit or in my division. I actually did like a few of them, but I don't know. It just I didn't feel that bond at that point in time.
Yeah.
Of course, going through boot camp and boot camp was kind of a scary time, right? Because you never know if you're going to mess up, right? So like you're afraid of getting kicked back or kicked out, right? So like you don't go to the doctor, right? Or like, and we kind of talked about it, right? Like there's just this mentality, like you just don't go on profile or you don't get a chit for anything, right? You just kind of suck it up because you're afraid for whatever reason. Yeah, I know, but a few of the thoughts that kind of processed through my mind is, both my parents, they were in the military. And as I was like, sitting there or laying there, they're like, my mom and my dad, they went through something very similar to this, right? My dad was Army, my mom was Air Force, right? If they can get through it, why can't I? Right. So, that kind of helped me go along with boot camp. And then, as I was going through like stuff like A school and stuff, the fears kind of went away, right? It felt more comfortable. And I think it was just getting used to the military type environment, right? While I'm a military brat and everything, I was not at the maturity level to understand the type of environment the military really is. And I think that helped a lot to reduce my fears for those specific situations.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely military. You get that unknown, a lot of unknowns. That's the same for me with basic training. Because the whole thing of traveling. I've traveled before, but it seemed like this traveling was different. So you don't, because literally it's like you're just traveling. Everybody's just as clueless as you. Traveling to this area on the bus, and then you do that whole first incoming or whatever, where you sit there and you I think he was
yelling at you, they're telling you get in line, right? They're having you call your home, tell them that you're good, you made it safe, hang it up, turn off everything, send everything home, change out clothes, get your head shaved, just standing for however long.
No, I was saying, but these experiences, that I definitely I would never take back, because that was like, to me, where I'm becoming a new person. I was actually overcoming a fear that I thought was going to be bad, but was turned out to be good. I mean, one that taught me how to deal with pressure. So, if you can control yourself under this pressure, you can probably control yourself under a whole lot of different things. And that actually can lead to you owning a business where you're going to be under the pressure of making sure people get paid, making sure vendors get paid, all these different things all at once, risk probably losing the business, but then figuring a way out of it, all that's pressure. And if you can take all those things that we learn, from military, I could say, and most people that, not everybody goes to the military, but at some point in their life, they learn how to deal with pressure. Like going back to your thing, saying other things that can contribute to, I guess, overcoming fear. Like you said, faith is one, and that's why some people do believe in religion the way they do, is because they want to, they know somebody's there that has their back and that can get them through something. I would say another thing too is just like keeping your goals, in front of you, regardless if you carry the goals on a written piece of paper in your wallet or your pocket or whatever it is, or put it on your bathroom mirror so every morning you see it. That's one of those things that keep you going no matter what. Yeah. So that's. I was just trying to go back around, because I didn't. I know you asked that question, but I was just going back around to fill in the blanks there.
No, you're good. You're good. But kind of going into. Hey, have you? I know you got kids and stuff, but have you watch that new movie Sing 2?
I did not yet. No, I think they did, but I didn't. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's actually a good movie.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, don't be embarrassed. You like
Right,
animations.
Oh no, never. But no, what I like about a lot of child movies or whatever it is that they have like a lot of good lessons in them, and while they're definitely entertaining and stuff. And big lesson in that one specifically, they kind of go through it in the trailer of it is fear, right? Each one of the like main characters they experience some sort of fear or anxiety, right? So one of them, he has to learn how to dance, right? But he experiences a lot of fear and anxiety because the person who he's trusting to instruct him is not instructing him in a way that he can understand or that he can process properly. He's just very strict and expects him to do this because he's been in the class. Another one, they have like a fear of heights, right? They're supposed to jump off of something and then they just can't do it, right? And I think that one is more off of expectations, right? That they were given a certain role, like the main role, and that this big moment they couldn't do what they needed to, right?
Yeah.
And there are a few other characters and a few other moments, and I think each one of them has a different driving force of why they got past that fear. But I just thought that that part of the movie was incredibly good for a children's movie. But,
well, no, I think that's what they try to do now. It's like, well, actually try to always do, especially like Disney movies. They always try to. I know that's not a Disney movie, but like, but like they try to put some type of message in there, where especially it could, I guess keep the adults interested too in a lot of these animation. But it does teach you a lesson where later on in life you see, oh, that's what. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, no, and going to that fear of heights, it made me think about how, like, even in basic training, they have you do this like rappel thing, where they have this rope that goes all the way across, and you have to crawl on this rope all the way across, like to the other side. And it's a net down below, but you're up high. It's
big enough for me.
It's actually pretty cool. The rope is big enough to do it. They tell you how to do it, and basically, you have to lay down on the rope. You have to put 1 foot, like how where your ankle and foot meet. You have to put that's like your hook. So you put that on the rope, and you use your other leg as a balance, like as if like you had a cattail or something, like so, and then you pull yourself across, and you balance the whole time with doing those things, and you make it across. And the one thing you had to do was you had to trust your instructions. Like the instructions were given to you before you got on the rope, and you do exactly what they tell you to do when you get down on this rope. And then guess what? I made it across, and I think the drill sergeant was actually kicking the rope. he was trying to get me to fall, because it was, I think this female fell and she broke her ankle or something like that. Yeah, because I guess how she landed on the net, I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, that would be me. I'd be the broken ankle person.
But going to that, there you go. That was a fear, but I had to trust in the instructions that I was given to make sure I got across. That I was going in, relating to how you said it on for Sing. So it's sometimes that's what,
for example.
Yeah. So sometimes you just got to let go, especially you have to look at who's the person giving the instructions. Do you think they want you to be harmed in any kind of way? Or if you're doing something for them, do they want you to embarrass yourself, which in turn would embarrass them? So it's kind of like you have to look at it like that. And that was how I started treating, especially a lot of things we had to do in the military was like would they cause me harm, or would they want to cause themselves harm? Or because one thing you used to always say, trust your equipment, So, and that's the one thing you have to remember, to trust your equipment or trust the instructions you were given, and make it across. Or like it was some other like when I got to my first unit, a lot of stuff they like to do was related to combat. And a lot of times, like, since I didn't know, I had to go off of what was taught to me. A lot of these NCOs were combat. They had combat experience, so I had no way to dispute anything that they did or said. Yeah.
So I really enjoy the example, and I kind of want to go back to the person that you said that fell, right, and they had hurt their ankle, right? Because while you yourself, you trusted the process, you trusted the instructions of what you were provided, and it benefited you, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is the opposite, right? So for that female that fell and broke her ankle, what do you think the perspective of her and her psyche would have been at that point? Just in whether that's like trust levels or that process.
Yeah, I think that really she probably was still looking at the fact that she was up high. She was given the same instructions, and still did the same motions. But if you let your fear overcome you, then you lose all control and thought, and you forget that you're hooked in by your foot and ankle, and all you're using is the other leg as a balance. So the only way you will fall is if you let your balance get off. And then, so in that sense, if you start to have a lot of anxiety, and that's what we call fear, anxiety, and you would actually start to forget everything you did. Your breathing gets out of control. You everything gets cloudy. You just, what I'm saying, you're just moving, and then you start moving erratically, and then next thing you know, you're upside down, and then you get to a point where it's like, I'm just gonna let go, and then you let go, and boom.
Yeah, I didn't really want to do the podcast this way, but what you're saying is, like, bringing up something else, is that like I was listening to something and they compared living life to swimming, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know how great of a swimmer you are, but
terrible, by the way.
Okay. But say if you could touch the floor like in a pool,
mm-hmm.
would you be able to swim?
Would you be able to swim? I guess that'll be one of those things that
like you personally.
Me, if I could touch the floor, would I be able to swim?
Yeah.
I think, well, I don't know. That's the thing. I never tried to go to the bottom of a pool and pull myself back up. Now, I think I would get to a point where once I can get over the fear of going directly to the bottom and then going back to the top. And I think that's why, because I know, you're in the Navy. So like that's one of the things you guys have to do to get over your fear, right? Yeah.
So in the Navy, right, we so kind of like how you guys do the rope, right? We I'd like to say jump off, but we get pushed off of of this. I can't remember how high it is. It's pretty high, and I have a fear of heights.
Yeah,
right? But I don't have a fear of water, right? Because I grew up swimming, but that they kind of push you off, and you have to brace yourself in a specific way, right? And the reason why is, like you said, trusting the instruction and process, is because if you don't brace yourself, if you don't keep like your body tight, right, and your body's like flailing around as you're falling, when you hit the water, you can dislocate something, right? Mm-hmm. So it's to teach you that if you ever fall off a ship or fall off something incredibly high and end up having to land in the water, to brace yourself beforehand so that at least you can land in the water nicely without breaking anything. You can at least have a chance to swim or float. Right? And then they have you swim across the pool afterwards. And there's people there, like, if you can't swim, they'll help you, they'll teach you and everything. But yeah, no, that was a good experience too. But kind of going back to it is that while I can swim, there's a different type of swimming between a pool and the ocean.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
And what I mean by that is that a pool is a very controlled environment, right? So, and kind of going back to life is that I am good in that specific environment, right? So in my career, I am good in IT, right? I am good in cybersecurity. But when I get in the ocean, it's a whole different game, right? Because there's so many other variables around you, right? There's waves, it's deeper, there's fish, there's shark, whatever it is, right? So, but I think a lot of people, they go out through life not even trying to learn how to swim. They go straight either into the deep end of the pool or they go straight into the ocean. And then when they're in those situations where they can't swim and they're flailing around and they're gasping for air, they get desperate, right? So they try to find like the easier way out, right? So whether that's in swimming, like a life raft, right, or floaties, or whatever it is. But in life, they, like I said, they take the easier way out, right? Like say if they're in school, they plagiarize, right? If they're at work, right, they maybe show up late or they don't do what they're supposed to. They take the easier route out of those situations.
Yeah.
But I think like, cause you were talking about fear or we were talking about fear and you were going into how that person may have felt or how that psyche may have been when they were trying to go through the process, right? They didn't trust the process. They were getting anxious and they kind of just let go, right? I think a lot of people feel that just in life in general.
Yeah, no, I believe that. Yeah. That's definitely. If we could get over that initial fear, actually, and that's the craziest thing. I think I've done things where I knew kind of where I was like, I would say like I was 85% or 95% right on this subject. And then I've had to tell somebody, like, hey, you should probably, and they're above me in rank. I was like, yeah, you should probably do such and such, right? Because I've seen somebody else go through this, and you basically it's something not normal for you to tell somebody higher rank than you about this. But then that's one of those things. You have to have that courage, especially when you know that you're doing this to make sure someone doesn't get harmed or in trouble or whatever, right? Yeah. And that's one of those things. Like, and then a lot of times I didn't get any backlash after I said what I said. And it's kind of funny. I was like, okay, that means that I need to start stepping up more, and because that's more of a leader, regardless of the rank. You need to make sure or as like the audience could be talking, their position at work. If you might be a lower position, but you still need to actually stand up, step up. Hey, I'm gonna say what I have to say. And this is not coming from any type of bias. This is some from the regulation or from the company policy that I know. And, and that way, that's to me is more like a leader, and that's getting over that fear. And that's what leaders have to do. They always have to get rid of that fear for a second just to do what they have to do.
So like kind of going on to the topic of like getting over your fear, what do you think people in general gain from getting over their fears?
Well, honestly, I think you gain a lot. Your fear's there in place because it's supposed to protect you, but sometimes your fear is not always right. So you need to kind of understand like what am I doing here? And how should I approach this? Or sometimes you just gotta go for it. I think even just like I said about, going into the military, that was kind of like me. I knew I needed to get something done. I needed to go. I packed up and moved to Dallas. I knew it was something I wanted to do, and I'm not from Dallas, right? So I had to just go. It was some other things I had to do that it's where it just had to. You just got to do it, no matter what.
Like you said, moving out of your parents' place, right?
Yeah. And that was going from my parents' place. Oh, yeah. You talking about when I was 19? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was that was definitely an interesting time for me, which was great. Yeah, because that was that first, I guess my first wave of like showing my manhood is by just leaving. Wow. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I gotta leave, and I'm leaving, and I'm going to get my own apartment, and that's what I did. And yeah, and I took care of my bills, and I mean, to me, I think that did something because it made me a little bit more responsible. Because when I got a chance to get back in school, or I'll say get to a university, it made me like understand why I was there, even though I didn't have the best grades. I was working it out though. I was like, you know what? Nope. I know I didn't do so great. I failed this, but I'm not going to fail this class, and that's what I would do. And it's because I knew what was out there. If you don't have enough money, if you barely making ends meet, yeah, sometimes it gets a little painful.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of like one of those things. What would you rather have? A lot of pain or get over your fear temporarily?
Right. So, yeah. No, I think like fear in general. While I believe it's also here to protect us, and sometimes it's just here to kind of keep us comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And my saying is, or a common saying is that comfort is the enemy of growth, right? And I think a lot of people, they kind of succumb to their fears and they don't grow, right? Whether that's personally, professionally, emotionally, whatever that fear is, right? I think that keeps them from growing in general, right? So, like an example, like especially like in my generation, a lot of people are.
Did you hear something in the background?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start muting, man. Yeah.
Can't mute the kid, right? But like you said, like moving out, right? Yeah, that was still a generational thing. Like I said, in my generation, it's not a big thing for I guess people to move out from their parents' place, right? So, and I'd still talk to people, or I don't really have friends that are like that, but I know people that are well in their late 20s, early 30s, still living at home with mom and dad, and they have this just general fear of moving out, right? But they try to justify it with other things, right? They try to justify it, be like, nah, man, I'm trying to save up, trying to make sure I'm not in too much debt, whatever that is, right? And I think it's just that they're too comfortable living at home, and they're afraid of the pain, that temporary pain of having to grow and become independent, to gain like the next version of themselves, or a better version of themselves.
Yeah. No, that I think that is true. Because they can say they're saving up, go get a second job. And that's exactly what I did. I went and got a second job, saved up, and I left. I mean, I even had a little bit of credit card debt. I didn't care. I still had my student loans. I didn't care. I was like, I got to go somewhere. I got to do something. And it may work out. It may not work out. But the thing is, if you have determination, most of the time you're going to get through it. The person who was like half-wheeled, that's usually the ones that fail. So you gotta, if you want to do it, you got to come with it.
No doubt. No, I definitely agree. So other than like, military and stuff, what's another example you got, like from young Craig, right? That you could probably impart to the like younger generations of fears that you faced, and that helped you grow just in general as a person, right? Like I'm sure, whether that's, going through relationships, going through different careers, stuff like that. Like, what would you say would be like one of the best ones that you grew from?
That I grew from? It probably, I don't know, because it's like a combination, the jumping up and going, the moving away, that definitely changed my changed my life because things, and that's funny. Once you do something the first time and you wonder why you were so afraid of it, then all of a sudden you kind of get comfortable with that. And it's like you need to do something else. Because I don't know. That's the one thing I like. It's like you can't stay at that one spot. Yeah, almost I'm gonna use something from military. You can't stay undercover too long, right? You gotta move. So like it's kind of like one of those things when it comes to comfort. You gotta get from one spot, execute, go to the next one, go to and then after you did that one, get over something else, go to the next one. And like you said, what's that? If you're comfortable, you're not growing. In that case, that would be one of those things. If you find a new challenge all the time, then you will actually you'll keep growing. I mean, us starting this podcast, that's one thing too. I think I've had a little anxiety about doing it, and then I was like, well, you know what? We just keep going. Let's see how this goes. Let's see what it turns into. Let's see something else that I grew from. Like I said, yeah, I know we were talking earlier and we talked about that bad relationship I was in, but by not, pursuing anymore, that was a lesson learned, get over that comfort of being around that person, regardless if they're, because it's kind of weird. Your comfort level it can hold you back so much. It'll make you deal with the worst person or the worst thing. This thing could be literally causing you pain every day, and you hold on to it because it's comfortable.
And that's known, right? Like, you already know what to expect, when you see them, when you go out with them, they, even though, they're going to go crazy or whatever it is, you expect it, right? But then another relationship, you don't know, right? And that's the fear, right? That you're uncomfortable with, is that unknown portion.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it could have been that the fact that I did like her a lot, but then it could have been the fact that, my parents didn't like her, and that might have been it could have been like one of those things. Is like I'm being rebellious deep down, you never know. So, but I say that was a lesson learned in life. Let's see what other fears or something that helped me out.
So real quick, like process wise, like make it a little bit more tangible. How did you identify those comforts, or did you even identify that they were comforts that you had to grow from?
No, that's the thing. I think that comes with time, with actually knowing yourself, because sometimes you don't notice that stuff. It was just like it was a young female that was like talking to me about, I think she was talking about mature men or something like that, and I was like. And I was saying, because I think she wanted to maybe be in a relationship with somebody or get married with somebody. And to me, if you're in it, her age was 22. I know some people think they're already old when they're 22, but you're not. But if you're at that age, even if you finish college, you can do so much with that energy. So because you're going to get to a point where it just automatically, your body will start to want to form a comfort. So you got to get out there and keep going. So basically she was just talking about her, why some men aren't mature and stuff like that. And then I had to ask the question. I was like, why would you want to put that pressure on someone your age anyway? Because it sounds like she's trying to force somebody into a relationship by the conversation we were having. Right. And I'll ask her the question, do you know yourself? All right. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. A lot of people don't know themselves. You're asking for something, but you don't even know who you are yet. Mm-hmm. She actually got kind of quiet after I asked her, do you know yourself? Yeah. Because you don't know how you look to other people. You might look immature. So that's why you invite immature people.
No doubt.
Yeah. And usually, most of the time you will attract people that are similar to you. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I think she was kind of an immature person. So, and that's why it was kind of funny that she was asking the same question, about, mature man and immature man,
Mm. Maybe like at least for her specific situation, maybe she could identify it in others, right? Where she didn't want to identify it in herself, right? So
Yeah.
she just projected it onto others, right? Like I want a mature man because I'm not mature, right? But she didn't want to say the other half, right?
Yeah.
But she, and that's another thing. I think a lot of people they have. One, they fail to self-assess, but they love assessing or criticizing others, right? But they
Yeah.
also I think the yeah, no.
I think it froze a little bit, but you're good now.
Yeah. I was like, it froze for you too. But because I was wondering why you're looking at me like that. I was like,
what I had a crazy face or something.
Yeah. You're like, you're just like stuck in the corner. I was like, oh, what's it?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
But no, I think that's that. One of the things too, is knowing yourself, and that was the reason why I knew I can tell when I'm getting comfortable. When it's hard for me to budge from something, I know I need to do it. But it's hard for me to budge. I'm starting to get comfortable. And I mean, honestly, that's why I feel like sometimes, that's what I missed about the military is the fact that I could, I knew I was about to leave in 3 years, right? You're about to go somewhere else. And that does help keep you from being comfortable all the time because you already expect it. Now I'm going to move. So I might as well I'm getting close to the end. Let's start packing up and figuring out where we want to go. Yeah. So it to me, it comes down to knowing yourself. Just if you can figure out who you are, figure out the type of person you are, and then you can figure out what you need to do to force yourself to do it. Because a lot of times you got to trick yourself because this is like and like I'm always trying to come up with ways to trick my brain to do something I want to do. Regardless if it's to save more money, if it's to try new things or, whatever. It's like you got to figure out what motivates you. And then after you figure out the motivation part, now you got to figure out what is that you really want to do. That was one thing I was learning when I was reading a book. I was just reading. It was that Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice. Motivation alone does not help you. But, having a deep down desire of why you want to do it. It's kind of like you got to be passionate. Like this is something I want to do and I want to do it for this reason. And you keep that in front of your mind all the time versus like trying to just use motivation. Motivation dies out. So that, and that again, knowing yourself, knowing what will motivate you to get you to that point of interest. And then now you take it a step further so you can hold on to it.
No, I fully agree because, I know. So definitely knowing yourself. So me personally, I've never really had a problem with that. Like I've always felt like I've known who I am, right, or what I wanted, right, and I think it's a good concept for other people to learn too, because when you know yourself, right, when you know what you want to do for life, what you want to make in a monetary value, what you want for your family, what you want educational wise, then people can't tell you what you want. And I think people that don't know what they are or who they are, they get influenced by others too easily, way too easily. I think that's where like they get all these differing or conflicts, right, or internal conflicts, right? They're always searching, right, for something, right, and it's never it just never comes to them, right, and so they look for others to kind of give that to them. They try to live through those other people vicariously through those experiences, and you'll see that like especially with people on social media or whatnot or watching movies or TVs, right, all those experiences, they feel like they require those experiences because they don't truly know who they are inside. They try to take those experiences and try to make them theirs.
Yeah.
Right. And then they kind of feel bad because they're not actually going through those experiences. They're just seeing other people go through those experiences.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's why, like, you shouldn't look at it. I mean, social media is great, but you shouldn't, like, put your life in the same picture of this person. You don't know what they're doing when they take this picture. They look like they're in front of an ocean, but then they could have photoshopped themselves in it. You don't know. They might stand in front of a house, but the house is not theirs. You don't know. Stand in front of the car, get inside the car. It's not their car. It's their friend's car.
Yeah. Or something they don't even know. They just saw the car. They just saw the house, right?
Yeah. So you can't base it off that. It's like one of those things. It's like, try to create your story, figure out what you want to do. And that's the thing. It seems like it's one of, I won't say it seems, it is okay in a way to not know what you want to do, but do know that you want to be someone and do something, so you can keep searching for that good thing. But it's always better to have a straight path. I'll say that straight path is always better than the zigzag. Because I tell my nephew that all the time.
The 18-year-old boy.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I don't know if the being a straight shooter or having that straight path is a better way, because I think when people have the straight path and something falls through, then they're back to the zigzag, right? But I think it's better to have some sort of path or multiple paths that you can adapt to. Yeah. Right. So because I'm sure that the military wasn't your first choice, right?
No, it wasn't.
But it's something you had to adapt into, right? And it's definitely led to a good career and hopefully future careers, right? It definitely led to you meeting good people and
no, it definitely opened doors. Yes, it opened doors for me, but I was kind of expecting some of it. I wasn't expecting all of it. A lot. Yeah, it turned out to be, pretty. Sorry about that, man.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I was getting distracted too.
Yeah, but so like I said, it opened doors, and it wasn't the first thing I wanted to do, because the first thing I was trying to do was be an engineer, and that was hands down. But the one thing I learned from that situation is that not to be too bullish about your ideas, right? So don't be so headstrong to the point where you don't see opportunity around you. And I messed up big time by not looking around me and only running headfirst into what goal I wanted. Because, if you don't believe, hope you believe this, I am doing what I was already doing when this was before I joined the military. I'm back in IT, even though that wasn't what I was trying to do. I was trying to be an engineer, and like I said, I was working for that data center, but I was I was trying to get a second bachelor's so I can go be a mechanical engineer. And then all the while I end up joining the military, turn around, I'm back in IT, even because I had an interest for it already, but I just end up right back there. But if I had noticed the opportunity back then, I would have already been set on this path of IT. Now, granted, saying that, I wouldn't have met all the people I've met in life, all these great people. I wouldn't have dealt with situations that helped me overcome fear. I would like a lot of things were contributed by actually going on the zigzag instead of going on the straight path.
Yeah, no, I fully agree, because there are definitely those moments that really kind of put you into it, right? Like it was almost like divine intervention, right? Like you started on a path, and while you took different routes, you still ended up on continuing that same path and getting to a similar destination of what you would have been back then. So like it was meant to be, right? Or there's like moments that are in life that are meant to be and meant to happen, right? To kind of point you in the right way.
It's just definitely a good journey, and I'm trying to I want more journeys, because comfort. comfort is good in a way, but then it's something, I don't know if the military did this to me. It's something about that excitement of newness, just doing something else, you know? So yeah, that's why I'm, been thinking about, recreating my path, just like this goal we're doing right now. We're in, on this podcast. That is something that is that was a fear. I'm slowly getting over that fear by constantly doing these with you, and plus we already talk anyway, so we're comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If only we could have had some podcast equipment earlier, but
yeah. Hopefully we can start getting to a point where we add people to it, get us invite some guests on.
Yeah. But no, so like going back to how you were saying the anxieties of starting this, dude, I did too. Like, and I don't even know why, right? Because I was so like headstrong about it. I was like, man, you're getting me hype about this because I'm listening to all these podcasts. I'm like, all right, Craig, let's do this. Now I'm messaging you, and you're like, all right, you're like, this is the equipment I got. Like, get something like that. I was like, all right, bet. I didn't even buy it. And then you're like, oh, we're gonna start this podcast, and I was like, let me buy this stuff real quick. And I was like, yeah, damn, I totally forgot about this. Or I didn't forget about it. And then like starting, like the first episode, because we put the first 2 weeks like in the back burner. And yeah, I think it all attributed to not just you, but me as well, having that anxiety of like, oh man, we're gonna start a podcast. I gotta talk. I don't know what we're gonna talk about. But yeah, no, I'm glad we are doing it. It may not be the most perfect thing in the world, but like we said in the last episode, to just start, and just start, even if you are fearful, right?
Yeah.
Just do it, right? Like, what's the what would be the outcome if you did it, right? Even if it was a failure, right? Experience that you had, right? Didn't take too much out of your time or day to do it.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're about ready to close out.
Yeah.
I mean, we're hitting about an hour. So that I think we have too much fun with these,
Yeah. No, I agree. But no, I mean, that's not a bad thing necessarily, but no, it's we can close it out, right? I don't really have too much more questions or concepts for the specific podcast, but definitely great dialogue. To close it out, just want to thank, if anyone's listening, thank you for listening, and of course, thank you for your time, Craig, for being here. It's definitely a great conversation, great dialogue between us. I always enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to be here. Yeah, I'm glad you're here with me. Yep. We're tackling this fear together.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah.
But for everyone else, thank you for listening again. Have a great rest of your week. See you next week.
All right. See you.